Purdue.
Yes.
All right.
All right, start it off.
All right. Welcome back to the PNC Sports Podcast.
Let's discuss the big topic, Notre Dame and Northern Illinois.
That was the worst game I have ever watched. It was awful. How aren't they like ranked number 7 or were?
They were ranked number 10.
Number 10. How does a number 10 ranked team lose to an unranked? It is just the biggest upset of this week for sure.
The Northern Illinois coach was talking after the game to a reporter, and he stated that's the first top 10 victory for Northern Illinois in school history. So Notre Dame is officially marked as the first school that was ranked in the top 10 to lose to that team. You can never beat that.
I was really hoping Notre Dame would have a good season. You know, I thought maybe they could pull through this year and maybe make it to playoffs.
I was thinking the same thing.
At least a bowl game, but after seeing that game, I've completely changed my opinion.
Another fun fact about Northern Illinois, they actually beat Bama one year. I don't know what year it was. I don't know how long ago it was, but they beat Bama.
Was this during the Saban era or no?
Yes.
Oh, it was. Okay.
ULM beat Bama at Bama in the Saban era his first year.
Hey, ULM's going all the way this year. General
ULM
Booty
is
is going to take them to the Dome.
All right, let's go ahead and start with our game of the week. My game of the week, personally, is number 24 ranked Boston College at number 6 Missouri.
I'm also going to have to agree with that. There aren't too many great matchups this week. But it's kind of earlier on in the season, so they're not going to get too good until around mid-season, late season. So.
Okay, in that game, I have Boston College taking down Missouri. Boston College looked electric when they were playing Florida State, and I like to see them go far.
So a lot of people are saying that Boston College only beat FSU because they had retired NFL coaches that were like familiar with the new helmet technology. I think that's completely false. I think FSU just sucks this year.
I would have to agree. And for our upset alert this week, Notre Dame versus Purdue. Purdue has a history of beating ranked opponents, and Notre Dame's already lost one. I think I think Notre Dame comes to Purdue and loses.
Notre Dame is going to lose for sure. I have no faith in them anymore.
All right, let's start off with our first game. Number 20 Arizona versus number 14 Kansas State.
Gonna have to go with Kansas State.
I'm gonna have to go with Kansas State as well. I don't think Arizona's a good team, but I don't think they're as good as Kansas State.
Yeah, Arizona, I don't really know too much about them, so I'm just gonna have to go with Kansas State.
The next game, number 13 Oklahoma State versus Tulsa.
Give me Oklahoma State.
I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State too. Ollie Gordon is a powerful runner, as we seen last week. Arkansas State versus number 17 Michigan.
Give me Arkansas State.
I'm going with Michigan. Last time I went for Michigan, it really didn't help me any, but I have faith in them.
Yeah.
Next is a potential game of the week of number 4 Bama at Wisconsin.
So I'm gonna have to go with Bama because Bama has a great team this year. Bama may potentially take it all the way this year. I hope not, because then since Saban retired, they're gonna say that Bama is the greatest college program without Saban, which is false. But I think Bama's going to win. I hope Wisconsin has a huge upset against Bama, but as of right now, Bama's got my vote.
Wisconsin has my vote. I've always been a Wisconsin fan. I've always loved Wisconsin, mostly because our school and Wisconsin have the same logo, same colors, and everything.
Speaking of Wisconsin, I just want to mention that Braylon Allen, a former Wisconsin running back, is now the youngest player in the NFL of all time. I'm pretty sure.
I think that's right.
I think so. He's also playing with the oldest current player, which is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, the next game we have an SEC matchup. Number 16 LSU going to South Carolina.
I'm going to have to go with LSU.
I'm going to have to go with LSU too. No bias here.
They really could have had a better game against Nicholls State. It should have been a blowout game. But
I think LSU's weak point is their defense. Their offense is pretty electric.
Well, I'd have to agree with that. Last year, our defense was the main reason we lost some games that we should have won. I think we had like the number 110th best defense in college football, which was not a great thing.
South Carolina did look really good last week. I'm pretty sure they won. But I don't think they can beat LSU. And we've already talked about the Boston College Missouri game. Next is Ball State versus number 10 Miami, Florida.
Give me Ball State. I think they're going to have a huge upset on Miami.
Going into Miami, I don't think you can win in that atmosphere. Everybody knows in the world Miami is a crazy place to be. And give me the U. Give me the U. Next game, number 9 Oregon versus Oregon State. This is one I potentially had on upset alert.
I'm going to say Oregon State.
I'm going to have to go with Oregon. Oregon, I think, can beat Oregon State.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure it was last year Oregon did lose to Oregon State.
I don't remember.
Or the year before last. One or the other. One of those years, I know they lost to them. All right, next game, Tulane versus number 15 Oklahoma.
Give me Oklahoma, especially since I think Tulane could win. If they played at Tulane, but they're playing at Oklahoma, so I'm going to give it to Oklahoma.
I would totally agree with that. I have Oklahoma beating them by 40. I really do. We've already talked about Notre Dame and Purdue. Next we have number 12 Utah versus Utah State, a rivalry matchup.
Give me Utah just because they're ranked.
I'm getting Utah because Utah State is not a very good team. Utah proved themselves the other night. Utah's really, really good. Next is number 5 Ole Miss versus Wake Forest.
I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss on this one.
I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss as well. SEC ball is just different.
SEC ball is different.
Next is UTSA versus number 2 Texas.
Give me UTSA.
I'm gonna go with Texas. Texas is a really good team, and I think they're gonna be a really good team for the next few years with Arch Manning in the backfield. So
I just want to point out that you doubted Texas last week against Michigan, and look what happened.
Texas proved themselves.
Texas blew out Michigan.
All right, next is Northern Iowa versus Nebraska.
Give me Nebraska. I don't know much about either of these two teams. I haven't really been keeping up with them.
Well, Dylan Raiola, who wants to be Patrick Mahomes' son.
Yeah, he goes to Nebraska.
He goes to Nebraska, and Nebraska is back, sadly to say. Next could be a potential upset alert. Number 1 Georgia versus Kentucky.
I'm going with Kentucky for the pure reason that was my first ever college Retro Bowl team, and I won a natty with that team. So give me Kentucky.
I'm gonna go with Georgia.
You know, I think Georgia. They're gonna start their season off good, and then they're just gonna go downhill.
I don't think Georgia's at the level that they should be, personally, from seeing Georgia teams in the past years. But I think they're going to be really good this year, as they always are.
I just hope they're not back-to-back natties again. That was not a good time to be anything but a Georgia fan.
Indeed.
All right, thank you for tuning in to the PNC Sports Podcast. This is episode number 3, and we will see you guys next week.
I just want to give a major shout-out to Drew Aller. Thank you for being our biggest supporter, even though you don't know us.
Hey, he'll know us one day.
He'll know us eventually.
He'll know us one day.
All right. This one?